Making sure that we are still recording on this. So when we look at Excel, Excel is a powerful way to work with data. Some of the new features of Excel really accentuate this. We should be able to analyze our data with Excel, to be able to discover new data, visualize this data. And Excel is most commonly used for analytic tools for business users, and it truly is accessible to almost everyone. There's over 1 billion Office users out there. So there's very few persons who do not have access, very few business users who do not have access to this tool, depending on what version it may be. And so the capabilities such as Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, Power Map, these are all some new features within Excel, which makes it much more powerful in order to work with your data. Powerful self-service BI was introduced in Excel 2013, and it is a very powerful business intelligence solution that's built directly into Excel. And this self-service business intelligence allows you to take your data and to organize it in such a way in which you're able to get insight out of it. There's never been such an abundance of data that's useful and that's available that comes from the web that you can pull into Excel spreadsheets and organize it with data that you may have already collected in order to gather some rich insight. Power Query also allows organizations to query the data in such a way in order to find trends within it, as well as being able to analyze this data. Using Power Pivot, Excel users are able to create sophisticated models with data in Excel by creating relationships. They're very much so like those who are familiar with Access or creating a relational database, being able to create relations between the tables in order to do some very powerful analytics behind it. Being able to create relationships, custom measures and calculations, hierarchies, key performance indicators or KPIs. And so this allows, within an Excel spreadsheet, it has lightning fast performance, and we're able to compress the data to reduce the file size as well. So a lot of organizations who may be doing clinical trials or some other or huge financial calculations are able to use it and analyze data with lightning fast speed using Excel. Hundreds of millions of rows of data, being able to do so very quickly. Being able to visualize this data, now that we've been able to discover it, pull in data, analyze the data, be able to look at the trends upon it, now being able to visualize it. And that's extremely useful, being able to quickly see where trends are, being able to look at a graph or chart to be able to determine how our data maps out or what it really looks like. Their quick analysis provides immediate view of various visualization options, and it reduces the time to add them to your data. So with Excel 2013, Power View was introduced as well, and it brought a beautiful interactive visualization. It created more fluid exploration capabilities. Power View also easily creates visual records and analytic views through interactive charts and graphs. Helps you to explore, to present your data in great new ways to present your data, so that you can create great customer presentations and great customer dashboards or whatever it may be in order to view it in such a way that is visually appealing. Next is exploring this data. So discovering it, analyzing, visualizing it, then now exploring, being able to see really what this data means, being able to take this data and have access to geospatial data and uh, put that together, combine it to create a power map, which brings 3D visualizations into mapping tools, being able to see, um, especially if it's geographic data, to be able to see where it lies on the map, and create powerful maps that allows us to look at different regions of the world and being able to see information about where our data maps. Um, Launched in 2008, the Worldwide Telescope is used by the astronomy community to visualize imagery and data. That is also incorporated within Power Maps as well. So what's next? Well, the importance of data visualization is on the rise, and deeper interactivity that blend analysis and visualization, as it becomes more fluid. Newer types of visualization has enabled us to get much deeper insight, be able to create a better story, create a better experience when we're using our data inside of Excel, and that boils down to greater productivity, making Excel an excellent productivity choice, an excellent productivity application, in which it can revolve around any customer's needs, anyone who uses its needs to do that. So this is kind of an overview of what we're looking at with Excel and the ability that it has with data. Taking it a step further, we know that there's a desktop version of Excel. But then what about Excel Online? Well, Excel Online has many of the features of the desktop version. Excel Online comes with Office 365, and many persons who already have Excel are using Office 365 or using Excel Online as well. Let me open this up to a brief poll. Those who are connected via the web will be able to see the poll on their screen. Just bear with me for just a moment. So if you've used Excel Online already, or even if you haven't, you can still participate in this poll. And so what benefits from Excel Online do you like the most? So the number one is easy to spot trends and patterns in your data. Number two, do your own analysis. Three is being able to collaborate in real time. And four is all of the above. So just get a little feedback from our audience here. So currently it looks like it's 50-50 between being able to do our own analysis and being able to collaborate in real time. Oh, no, it is now 67% being able to collaborate in real time. So, no, it changed again. All right, we're going to stop it right here. 67-33. 67% being able to collaborate in real time, which is a very powerful feature of Excel Online, because what that allows you to do is to work on a particular Excel file, an Excel presentation, well, not an Excel presentation, an Excel spreadsheet, and work on it with someone else as well, or several persons at the same time. One person may be on one sheet, filling in information, another person may be on another sheet, or even on the same sheet in different cells, being able to quickly put data into a spreadsheet. And as we talked about, being able to analyze, discover, visualize that data, when we're talking about massive amounts of data, being able to work together as a team in order to do that is a great feature. So what are some other things that you can do with Excel Online? Well, you can reformat, rearrange it, right online, right through a web browser without having to download the desktop app. And that's a great thing as well, especially if we're using it on perhaps a mobile device, or maybe we're using it on excuse me, a shared or public PC. And that makes it very convenient in order to be able to access our data wherever we are, being able to access productivity tools no matter where we are at, being able to make it easy to spot trends and patterns in the data, being able to do our own analysis, being able to share information directly from the cloud, being able to, as what was the number one choice in our survey, was to be able to collaborate in real time. And then being able to discover, compare different ways to present our data visually, and being able to take all that data and allow it to flow into charts and graphs. So many of the things that we've already discussed in the desktop version of Excel is available in Excel Online, and rich features directly from a web browser from any PC on the planet. You're able to get to not only your data stored in the cloud, but also being able to use the productivity tool right through a web browser. So that makes Excel Online an excellent feature in order to manage data. At the outset, we talked about how important it is for organizations to modernize their IT and being able to access data or be able to use data in a modern way. Well, Excel Online really opens the door and really presents that option to individuals. So we talked, yes, being productive anywhere. That's what Excel Online allows us to do. Being able to, no matter where we are in the world, really, if we have an internet connection, then we're able to access the information that we need and the tools that we need in order to be productive wherever we may go. We see, if you see this picture here, this gentleman, I don't know where he's at, I guess like by the side of a parking lot or something, and he decided to be productive there. So I don't know what that means, but I'm sure you can get the picture from this picture. Going a little bit further, building great charts. That is something that newer versions of Excel allow us to do with all of this data. Excel allows business users to be able to unlock the potential of their data by using formulas across grids of cells. If you've used previous versions of Excel, you kind of had to copy and paste the formulas, but now you can kind of drag your formulas across different cells. And maybe we'll have an opportunity for me to demonstrate this as I go on. Then Excel also has some new features that allows it to recommend the best chart for our data. It looks at the data that we have. It looks at what's being presented in the X and Y axis, and then it now gives us the option or presents options to us, suggestions as to, okay, well, this chart is the best. The pie chart may be the best, or a graph chart may be the best, and making it much easier for us to create great looking charts. More on the features of Excel using conditional formatting. Excel users can format their spreadsheets using different color shades, bold, italics, to differentiate between columns and bring the most important data to the fore. And so this function could be extremely useful in many different cases, being able to allow users to create an appropriate color scheme by using the quick analysis button, and then utilizing the format tab as you see on the screen here. Again, being able to use the formatting based on a condition. So let's just say anything before a specific date, make this red, or anything that is less than this particular number, make it blue. And so by using this, or make it bold, or make it italic, I mean, by using this type of formatting, conditional formatting, it brings charts, and it brings columns, and it brings our spreadsheets to life. Help identifying trends. When presenting data in the form of charts or graph, it can help us to include average lines with explicitly detailed key trends emerging from the information. So we talked about earlier, when it comes to analysis, being able to look at the data and be able to get information out of that data. I mean, we're not just putting data into a chart to organize it. The hope is to put the data into a spreadsheet in order to get something out of it, to make it useful, to make us be able to make decisions on that data, and to be able to make to organize our company, whatever information that may be. If we're putting financial information in it, then we want to be able to get that financial information and be able to locate trends, and then now be able to make decisions. Should we spend on this? What should be our forecast for the next year? Things such as that, in order to help us to better understand what we should do in the future and be able to predict future activity based on past trends. Excel can be used to bring the information from various files and documents together as well. More than ever before, there are great ways to import different file types, to import data from different sources, and to combine it with our data in order to bring to life what we already have. We've talked about online access. Online access through Excel Online. It's available in Office 365. A little bit further on that, those who use Office 365 have the ability to install, not only using it on the web. One of the things that persons, sometimes there's a misconception that when using Office 365, it's only through a web browser. No, but it also comes with, many of the plans come with the full desktop version as well that you can download. You can put on your desktops. You can put on your mobile device. You can download the apps for your tablets and your and smartphones, laptops. And then again, being able to share all of the same data across your devices, all of the same user experience across the devices. And even after logging in and changing your settings on your PC, those same settings will roll across to your different devices as well. So it creates a seamless working environment, which makes it easy for you to be productive wherever you are. So we've talked about polling and surveying. That is the title of our webinar. We've talked about Excel in general and what it can do, some of the new features that came out in 2013 that's still available in 2016, and some of the new features from 2016 as well. And that gives us a platform for understanding Excel and what is available to us. However, we're going to talk specifically now about Excel surveys and being able to use surveys and polling and some of the great features when it comes to that. You can use Excel survey to create just surveys, questions about how people thought about something, what what they anticipate about a particular program we may have, some feedback forms. We can use it for referrals. We can connect it to a website. There's so much we can do with it, and we're going to discuss those things now. So what are the benefits of using Excel survey? Well, we can distribute and answer collections. We can collect preliminary results from questionnaires and analysis. We can export those answers into a regular Excel file. We can export it into many different applications. We can create a process costing on these surveys. We can use multimedia in our questionnaires so that there is video and audio to make it much more interactive. Excel surveys are very simple to manage. There's low demand on time in creating the survey. Another great feature is that if we are using Office 365 or we're going to use Excel Online, then we have this included for free. There's some other applications out there, SurveyMonkey as one of the ones that come off the top of my head. And there's other applications out there used for creating polling and surveying. But with Excel Online, if we're using Office 365 or planning on using it or interested in it, it's something that comes with it for free without an additional cost.
Oh, good. Okay, I just realized, though, we didn't pick a charity. And
okay, let's see here. So, how does it work? Well, first we collect the data. Excel surveys are part of the Office Online suite of apps that can be accessed from any device on the web. And so we want to think about how we use the data and frame our questions based on an idea. So we'll drag the question up and down to change the order. We can create columns in spreadsheets. Well, as we create the forms, columns are created in the spreadsheet where our answers are put in. As you see here, in order to create a new survey, in creating a new document in Office 365 or Office Online, we just create a new Excel survey, or we just select that. After we create a new survey and we create the form, we can count all kinds of feedback in the survey. We can calculate percentages. We can generate a survey report, so we can see the results of these calculations. Now, as you see here on the screen, this the data has been pulled in from the survey. After we create a survey, we can share the link so that others can get to the survey. They can access it. Clicking Share Survey also starts the process of creating a link for that form. After we create the link, we can copy and paste it into an email, or we can post it somewhere, and anyone who opens the link can fill out the form. But just because they can fill out the form, that doesn't mean that they see the workbook behind it. And the workbook is where all of the statistics and all of the data is stored. They do not see the workbook unless we give them specific permission in order to do that. So we can create it so that our internal team has access to the workbook. They can see who is inputting the data, but then anyone we share it with, the public, anyone in the public, could actually answer and put data into the survey. So what are some of the question types we can ask? Well, we can create a text, which is, usually best reserved for short 1 or 2 word answers, just a basic text box. Then there's paragraph text for much longer answers, maybe a full paragraph or 2. Then there's a number response, which is just best for if we're just going to put, it's like a math calculation. How many widgets do you want to order? Put the number here. Then there's date, which is great for putting things in chronological order along with time. And then this is a quick yes or no, which is true or false type of question type. And then there's a multiple choice question type as well. So these are the 7 different types of Excel questions that can be created, the different formats of these questions. And then we can create the questions and put this type of formatting behind any of them. So let's take the opportunity to look at this a little bit. Let me set something up here. And I'm going to share my screen. Just give us one moment. I'm going to stop the recording. I'll pause the recording while I'm setting this up, but please be patient. I'm resuming the recording. So here what you will find is a website that we've created for managing our Microsoft Community Connections program. But I've just went to a documents folder, just a basic documents folder on my Excel Online, or I'm sorry, on my SharePoint Online, my Office Online. And here, if I click on New, I have the option of creating a new Word document, Excel document, a new PowerPoint, a new OneNote document. But what you'll find here is now I have also the option to create an Excel survey. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to name the survey Test Webinar. Test Webinar Survey. Okay, so it says here, right, that I can enter a title for your survey here and enter a description for your survey here. So I want to put a title. My title is Webinar Test. And description is, this is a test survey presented online at CalSAE. And then now I have the option of entering my first question. And so my first question is, what is my first question? Were you able to follow the Excel survey demo? And so there's a question subtitle. The subtitle of this particular survey, we don't need to put a subtitle to it. I mean, it's pretty clear. Were you able to follow the Excel survey demo? But if we wanted to, we can put a subtitle to the question, did you see it online? And then with that, we can do we say the type of response. Do we want just simple text, or do we want to do a paragraph? It's really just yes or no, and maybe a few more words that somebody might put in. So we'll just keep it as text. Now, is this required or not required? We're going to select that it is required. We can also put a default answer in there. We can say the default answer is, yes, I did see it. And so if someone doesn't answer it, it will automatically say, yes, I did see it. We will do that just for the sake of demonstration. And then we'll click done. We have just created our first survey question. Now let's add another one. Maybe we'll make something like how many times have you used Excel online? And let's put a number behind that, right? We'll say here under the question subtitle, enter a number. And we'll make it required as well. And the format, do we want a fixed decimal? We can use a percentage, or we can use currency. So if we're asking for a dollar amount, then of course we use currency. If we're asking, a percentage of something, but we'll use a fixed decimal. And we will have how many decimal places? We don't need any, just because it's going to be a whole number. And then we'll select done. And adding another question. Let's describe how you foresee using Excel survey in the future. And so now this opens up the door for us to, let me spell foresee the right way. Don't you love spell check for people like me? How do you foresee using Excel survey in the future? And put under this question subtitle, please elaborate, because we want to get a rich response. And I'll make it a paragraph text, so a lot of information go in there. And then no need, we'll make it not required, and there will be no default answer. And so we're done with that question. We've finished 3 questions so far. Let's go to our 4th question. The 4th question, let's use, again, let's make it a multiple choice so we can see how that works. And let's come up with a question idea. Which feature of Excel survey, and let's say, do you like the most? And let's fix this. And I'm going to say choose one in this question subtitle. And then let's go ahead and put a multiple choice here. And the first choice is it's free with Excel Online. What else? It's very easy to use. The next one. allows me to share surveys with anyone. Can be accessed from any web browser. So those are our choices. Maybe some of them are a little bit kind of redundant. Can be accessed from any web browser. Okay, so we have our choices there. And it'll be in a drop-down box. And so let's save our survey and view it. Okay, this is our survey. We have our multiple choice, we have our paragraph, we have our number, we have our first question where you're able to follow the Excel survey, and we have our default answer already filled in, but you can change it, and it looks just beautiful, doesn't it? And it's so simple to use, and we've just created a wonderful survey. But now, how does it look? So I'm going to go ahead and share the survey, and I get a link. And this link is a link that allows anyone who has this link, they can fill out the survey. Now, as you will see here, there is an actual Excel spreadsheet behind the survey. So anyone who's connected to the link here, to the webinar, I'm going to post this survey link in here, and you can actually click on it. And if you'd be so kind to quickly fill out it so we can get some data for our demonstration purposes, that would be great. And we will see that data populate right here in our Excel spreadsheet online. You can type anything. You can even type inside of it. I'm going to go ahead and put in some information. How many times did you use Excel? I'm going to say 3. Elaborate. Blah, blah, blah. That's my elaboration. And then which feature did you like the most? I'll say it's very easy to use. And then I'll go ahead and submit the survey. And it says your response was received. Thank you. So if I go in, I see that now my survey has already been updated with a couple of responses. I see the response that I created, and I see a response that somebody else created. And now I can take this data and I can do anything I want. Now, all of those features of Excel that I stated, that we've talked about in the beginning, of how we can manipulate data, and we can create graphs, and we can do an analysis. Well, with all of this polling information that comes in, I can do all of that information. I can do all of those features with this poll. And so we can see that it's very easy to share the link. I can put this link, I could attach it to my website, I can mail it out to persons, I can put it in a blog, and I can quickly gather information, I can quickly gather data and be able to manipulate it with Excel. So that concludes our demonstration of Excel Online. Let me stop sharing the screen. And let me finish my setup over here. Okay, so going back to our presentation, we've had the opportunity to review Excel Online, be able to look at the new features of Excel desktop version, see which features are available also online, as well as take a deeper look into polling and surveying with Excel Survey. and how it is available with Excel Online, and how powerful and easy and simple it is to use. So I would certainly like to thank everyone for joining us. I'm going to turn the webinar back over to Ivona, who will handle facilitating any questions. I'm not leaving. I'll be around to answer questions. You can put them in on the chat window. And then Ivona will be also facilitating making sure that someone receives a free copy of software that has been designated. If you look on the screen, my email address is dgentles@cloudfirstinc.com. I'm the CEO of CloudFirst. However, in doing any of these webinars in association with CalSAE, you are free to email me and ask any question you may have. You can ask them now, but you can certainly feel free to send me any emails after the fact if you come up with questions later.
Thank you, Dennis.
Back to you.
Yes. Thank you, Dennis. We now open up our session for questions. If you have any questions concerning anything discussed during the presentation, please feel free to write them down in the chat window. While we are waiting for any questions, please remember that we will be holding a drawing for a free subscription of Office 365, so please stay online to be eligible. And also please fill out the survey form. A copy of the link is being placed in the chat window. Okay, I see that we have a question here. How do you access Power Pivot?
So yes, the question, how to access Power Pivot, is it an add-on? It is an add-on. It's something that if we can go into our add-ons into Excel, we can find that particular feature, add it in, and then we'll be able to see it on our menu bar in Excel and be able to use the features of Power Pivot. It is not something that has to be purchased. It should be included with any version of Excel 2013 and up. So 2013, 2016, I think also 2010. I'll have to just double check that, Gina, and get back to you. But now that I think about it, I think anything from 2010 and up, you'll be able to access Power Pivot and just import it into Excel as an add-on.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. So if no more questions, we can move on to our winner. And our winner for today is Heather Ster.